Hello everybody, welcome to my TV series review, my review of TV shows. Just finished up The Wire Season 4. We're going to do the typical new thing on these ones. Again, did not write down every plot twist from every single scene, because that's a lot of work, and I get paid nothing for it, so that's good stuff. But then yesterday I tried to do some taxes, made a little more progress. I found a sole proprietorship form, so we might try to do that again. I'm just going to HR block. But I'll give you characters, just kind of like the character development. Again, there's a bunch of characters in this show. But kind of the character development and notable scenes of the characters and just kind of what I remember. I'll give you my overall grade and major themes question mark. Again, just drug dealing, criminals, politician, and police. This season we have a school. There's a lot more. In the end of last season, it was really like Avon Barksdale was ready to go to war with Marlowe. Now this season, you really have like the overall view is you have Marlowe. He's really like Marlowe and Prop Joe. Again, they got the co-op going. Again, just buying drugs in bulk from Spiros, the guy from probably like season 2, the Greek guy. So you got that's kind of like the big drug presence in this one, or criminal presence in this one. It's Marlowe, his crew, Prop Joe and his crew, which is Slim Charles. And then Omar, I said El Nino, because this is some Mexican or Spanish-speaking dude, maybe Puerto Rican, but I couldn't find a name on the character list, so I just called him El Nino. We got Bubbles, Cuddy, our new ones, and these are like grade school kids. I think it's literally 8th grade. We got Michael Lee, Dookie Weems, Namond Bryce, Randy Wagstaff, and the youngin' Kennard. And so the very first scene, I believe, is Snoop and Chris putting up bodies. Again, Marlowe's he's taking over the west side of Baltimore. We have, again, Lester Friedman and I don't know who else, but they were at the Major Crimes Division, and they're just bunk Moreland. But you have Lester Friedman, I didn't have him up here, but they're basically wondering how Marlowe, at the beginning of the series, the murder rate's been pretty lax in Baltimore for what it has been in the previous season. So Freeman and Bunk are really wondering how Marlowe is taking over the West Side Baltimore drug trade, and there's no bodies popping up. So they're kind of investigating that, and the first scene is spoiler alerts, obviously, spoiler alert, but Chris and Snoop, who are the muscle. Chris is just about, I don't know, 20s black guy. Snoop is a female, probably again 20s as well. But all the bodies Marlowe's been catching, they put them up in just vacant houses in Baltimore, and so that's why Bunk and Freeman cannot find the bodies that they're dropping, and you don't really get resolution on that until pretty much like the season finale. And so that's kind of like the opening scenes, and then over. Just some notable hits. Again, Marlowe is definitely quick on the trigger, and Chris does most of the enforcing. But the body count of the major players. The first in one of the opening episodes, there's this guy named Lex, and I think he's from either, again, the Barksdale crew is pretty much dispersed. Again, the last one from them is Slim Charles, who's now working with Prop Joe, and you also hear from Weebay a good amount in this season. Namond Bryce, that's his son, so you see Weebay and Joe quite a bit. Past that, and then Bodie and Poot as well. But that's pretty much the resolution to the entire Barksdale crew. So, what was I saying? Oh, so I think this dude named Lex walks up to, I think a guy named was Fruit, because somebody in Marlowe's crew in one of the opening episodes, and just shoots him right as he's walking out of a club with his girl. So Marlowe and Chris decide, Chris and Snoop want to shoot up the whole corner. Marlowe's just like, no, the guy whoever did it, let's knock him off. So that this dude, his name was Lex. So you have, again, this entire time, the school kids, school kids out here, they're 8th graders, but they're also in the streets, and again, they're trying to, improve their grades so they don't become drug dealers, and don't do this, and don't do that. And so Prez Bellucci, I think is how you say his name, Polish last name, but I didn't even say my season 3 review, he's the teacher. He's the math teacher for all of the 8th graders, and he's the math teacher because in season 3 he was out on a call as a cop. He was looking for a armed black man in the alleyways, and he sees one and he shoots him down, and it was turned out to be another cop. So Prez Belushi, he kind of got off the police force for murking another police officer. So he's the math teacher at the school. And so you have Lex kills Fruit, and then you have this dude named Little Kevin's also in here. But basically, Randy Wagstaff, he's instructed by either Chris or somebody higher up, basically to tell Lex that a girl wants to meet him behind the playground later on. So Randy Wagstaff does that. Lex goes up there, obviously gets dropped in the alley by Chris and Snoop. And so that's kind of the payback for that. And then in the same kind of line, Little Kevin was, again, seen, I don't even know if he was seen talking to the police or just picked up one time. Little Kevin gets whacked, so he's dead. I don't even know how, yeah, he's up here. He's gone. He gets killed by Marlo. Marlo kills Lex. Little Kevin. There's also a scene where Marlo, he's in a grocery store, just a convenience store, and he steals literally like 2 dum-dum suckers that are like 10 cents each, and the security guard goes up to him and is like, I'm not being disrespectful, but you can't just come in my place of work and blatantly steal in front of me. So the security guard, he gets whacked too, just for simply talking back. So he's done. But then throughout the whole entire season, Randy, again, the reason he talked to police is he was at school and someone was going to call his foster mother. The principal was. The principal was played by a minor role, Marcia Donnelly, Tootsie Duvall. But she's like the principal of the school. And so Randy's like, I don't want you to tell my foster mother, was something bad I did in school. Oh, he's in 8th grade, and they have like colors for uniforms. Like each grade level has a different color. So he steals a bunch of hall passes in the beginning, and is basically at lunch going to sell candy bars to the younger grades. So I'm pretty sure he gets caught doing that, and then tells the superintendent or the principal that he's got word on a murder, and it's just hearsay, so it's not operable for the police. But he gets beat up outside of the school. He gets sent at the very end of the season. He gets sent to another boarding house where he gets called a snitch. But there was a big fight outside of the front of the school. At the school in the very beginning of the season, there's one of the girl, and they're all acting out. But a girl literally cuts another girl for like shining a light off of her watch into another girl's eye. So she just obviously steps up and cuts her in the face. So that chick's, I think she goes to jail. Not really sure, remember what. But because of that, they set up this like program where they take the corner boys or corner girls or just people on the streets, the most disruptive students, and put them in like their own special class. That special class is headed by a teacher. I believe it's Nerisse Campbell, Marilyn Affleck, I believe, and also Colvin, Detective Colvin, who again, he from season 3, he was the one that basically legalized drugs, the Amsterdam stuff. So he's now like he's at the beginning, he's off the clock obviously, but then he starts to be like a truant officer at first. Basically just the school district's like, we can have students show up once or twice a year and it still counts for something. And the overall plot of the whole school is like they're preparing for this test at the end of the year. If they're proficient, they're 2 grades behind. And so they're basically just a real political season where it's like, we have to get our grades up. All of the Carcetti stuff, Norman Wilson, Royce is the current mayor, and Odell Watkins, who starts with Royce, certainly in season 3 into season 4, but then he switches, the light-skinned black dude in the wheelchair, he switches to Carcetti. And all of the political stuff just drives me fucking bonkers. I can't stand it in real life, let alone as an entertainment value. So the grade's going to drop down a little bit, mostly for the political development, characterization, plot arc, but it was just off-throwing every single time. There's a senator, senator, I don't recognize him on here, which one, but another dark-skinned black guy. maybe no, it's Clarence Royce. Yeah, I'm not seeing it even from season 3. I'm just looking at the cast on HBO.com. But they probably say "she" like probably honestly 25 times in this season. And it's very clear. You can just watch it back again. This was filmed in 2006. It's like that episode. Everyone was saying "she" after that. So let's put that back into writing like 17 more times. So you'll definitely notice that. But I like saying "she," so I don't mind. But it was very predictable. But the whole Carcetti, Norman Wilson, at the beginning, Carcetti, he doesn't even want to do his political campaign. Norman Wilson, every single time he talks, it's like drawn out characterization. The vocalization from Norman Wilson was terrible. But at the beginning, Carcetti doesn't even want to try to run because he's never gonna win, and he's running for the Democratic nomination for the primary for governor of Baltimore. And so, beginning of the season, he's never going to make it. He doesn't want to do any of the political campaigns. Then, middle of the season, he ekes out the win. He gets the big win, wins the primary. And so now he's the mayor-elect, and they're not putting much credence into a Republican winning the mayor electoral vote in Baltimore. And now he's, for the rest of the season, basically, people are trying to, cuddle up to him, and he's trying to cuddle up to the governor of Maryland. So all the political stuff drove me bonkers. And I thought it was pretty detracting. And they also had another white chick. I forget. Again, not noticing who's who, but there was a white chick that helps run Carcetti's campaign, and she was banging McNulty in the last season, so she had some minor roles. But McNulty's really not in this one. Jimmy McNulty. I mean, he's in it, but not nearly the presence of the last seasons. He's a lot calmer now. He's given up on the drinking. He's banging. He's shacked up with Russell from season 2. Just like the border patrol from the Sobotkas. So he's now got a relationship with her. He's moved on from his wife. He's drinking less. His kids are now in their teens or preteens. And so McNulty's not super involved in this season. How about the police? The police. What's going on here? You get a lot of political stuff between Burrell, Rawls. Daniels goes from a lieutenant to a major to a colonel throughout the season. Valchek plays some minor roles. Again, Bunk. Kima Greggs' character in this one, again, the writing was just too drawn out. Just felt weird. But basically, again, they have their major crimes division from last season. They just busted up the Barksdale's case. Then for some political reason, they bring in a new lieutenant. Daniels gets promoted, and they bring in a new lieutenant who's basically just like, just get anything or get crimes or just not the wiretap, not the big cases, just anything that's prosecutable. And so basically Freeman leaves major crimes, Greggs leaves Freeman crimes, and they go over to homicide, which is run by Jay pretty much, but then the 8th floor or the 6th floor or whatever is Burrell and Rawls. So there's a bunch of political stuff going in there about, getting the crime rates down here, doing this, looking better for this district. That shit makes me want to blow my head off. That makes me want to get a visit from Chris and Snoop. But that's pretty much what's going on there. Again, you got Colvin, who's now, he wasn't true an officer at first, but now he's like, again, he's like a teacher kind of, or just a chaperone for this new pilot program of trying to calm down the reckless kids. And so, anything else? I mean, that's really, again, like I said, the political stuff drives me fucking bonkers. Again, Prez is the math teacher. But any more notable criminal scenes? Again, Omar, yeah, definitely. So Omar, he gets, Prop Joe is kind of playing both sides of Marlowe and Omar. Again, Prop Joe's running this co-op of drug dealers. Marlowe's kind of an independent person, but certainly a big presence. Interacts with Prop Joe quite a bit. Omar's an independent stick-up boy with El Nino. That's my name, not the character name. And he also, again, got some, chicks that will play, will hit licks with him as well. And so, Omar gets put on. Prop Joe says, there's a high-end poker gang going on. And Omar and El Nino, they go and rob the poker joint. At the poker joint, Marlowe's there. He gets robbed. And at this point, Omar doesn't know who Marlowe is. And so Prop Joe puts Omar onto the stick-up crew. Marlowe wants to go after Omar. And basically, there's definitely a shootout scene or something. That might have been last season, but robs the thing. Oh, and then later on, Omar robs the entire co-op's drug supply, right? Prop Joes, they're all buying in bulk from Spiro, the Greek dude. Omar says, let's go rob the joint. So he robs the entire shipment later on in the season, and basically literally goes back into Prop Joe's, he runs a little front of clock repair, just technology repair shop, and basically goes back to the guys he stole it from and is like, I'll sell it to you for 20 cents on the dollar. So he does that, gets the money. And Butchie's also in this. Again, it's like a blind bar owner that's either was in the game or out of the game, but pretty neutral, but certainly like, friends with Omar or banks Omar's money or something. So that's what's really going on there. So Omar sells back the thing, and they have a good laugh in the ending kind of scenes. Bubbles, he's throughout the season, definitely a presence. He's now running Bubbles Depot. In the season 3, he was selling the Whitey sale. Now he's got a whole little depot, just 2 grocery carts, and he sells stuff out of there. He's running with another, again, remember Johnny, his friend, died in season 3, so he's got another street dude with him, this young black guy, and he's always messing up the count. He wants the kid to go to school. He enrolls him in school. The kid doesn't show up to school, and Bubbles is always getting beat up and robbed by a certain individual street dude. And so Bubbles throughout the season is trying to get the police to arrest him. He's unsuccessful, so he decides he's going to prepare a hot shot, just like fentanyl and heroin, way too high of a dose intentionally to kill somebody. And so Bubbles prepares this hot shot, and then the black dude that he's working with that's supposed to be in school, he comes back and he's got Bubbles as just like this little shack area for a home, and the black kid comes back and he's like, I want to work with you, Bubbles. And so Bubbles has these hot shots that he was trying to give to the guy that was beating him up. He wakes up one morning after his friend comes back, and his friend's overdosed on the ground. So Bubbles is all torn up, goes in the police office. He's like, arrest me, I killed somebody. And they're like, let him go, he didn't really intentionally kill that guy. But he throws up on Jay, he tries to hang himself, and then at the end of the season you see him in like a mental ward or something with Greg's watching outside and another street dude trying to comfort him. So that's pretty much what goes on with Bubbles throughout the season. Cuddy is running a gym. He started to go back to the street stuff with the Barksdale's crew in season 3. He's now running a gym. A lot of the patrons of the gym's female mothers or guardians are taking a liking to Cuddy. So there's a scene in there about that. But kind of the ending type of scene for Cuddy is, again, he's just running a gym pretty much throughout the season. But he tries to break up a fight about somebody getting beat up, one of the younger kids getting beat up outside the gym, and gets shot in the leg twice. And when he's in the hospital, the nurse is like denigrating him, talking, all you street dudes just come back in, get free health care. And then Colvin comes in and is like, to the hospital staff, no, he broke up a fight and got shot. And then the hospital staff feels kind of like dicks. So that's kind of what happens with Cuddy throughout the season. And Michael Lee, who's one of the grade school kids, again, they're stealing cars, doing dumb stuff. He becomes a hitman. He gets trained by Chris and Snoop. And so at the end, he kills 2 people. I believe it's Bodie. Bodie, again, one of the leftovers from the Barksdale crew, now working Marlowe's package, basically sees at the very end, again, they bring down all the bodies out of the vacant houses. They realize that the nail gun Chris and Snoop use has different nails than the screws that the city uses to board up broken houses or vacant houses. So Michael Lee gets trained to be a hitman. Pretty sure he's the one that kills Bodie. So Bodie's dead, and then Michael Lee gets some props from Marlowe, Chris, and Snoop and does another hit at the very end of the season and gets the corner Bodie was running. And so Bodie's dead, little Kevin's dead, Lex is dead, Fruit is dead, Randy's getting beat up. The youngin' Kennard, who's literally like 8 or 9 years old, which the characterization on this was just stop. But in terms of, again, just like every statement, oh, fuck you, just seemed like a little 8-year-old trying to act real hard. Is just like, come on. I mean, it's just like, what? But he gets beat up for faking a rob. Like, he says he's keeping the package, and he says his door got kicked in. They say the door doesn't get kicked in, so I'm pretty sure Michael's the one that beat him up. But he gets beat up by somebody. Michael becomes a hitman. Naaman Bryce, who's Weebei's son, he does well in like the reformatory class, and at one point in the season his mom makes him go sell drugs, so like good parental influence. But basically Weebei in jail is like Naaman's mom is like, let the boy do whatever he wants. So Naaman's, I think he basically kind of gets like adopted by the Colvins at the end, who's the police officer who's taking a liking to him. Randy Wagstaff goes back to a group home after talking to police over the little Kevin case, trying to get the principal not to call his foster mom. The young Kennard gets beat up a little bit. Daquan Weems, he goes at the end of the season, you see him selling drugs, and in Prez Bellucci's class, he was like the hard-working, Prez gave him extra clothes, he let him in the morning to shower because he gets evicted, or his mom gets evicted throughout the season, and at the end of the season you see him selling drugs. So that's really kind of it from what I remember in the major scenes. And yeah, overall grade, I'll give it a C. Last season I went from first season or two I did a B+, season 3 was B-. This is a C. The characterization of all of the political stuff drove me fucking bonkers. Again, I was playing poker pretty much the whole time when I'm watching TV shows, and I just go to my poker game during that. But all of the political careers or career advancement talk, again, I get it's entertainment for, again, worthless fucking Americans, but it was just such off-putting. I had to drop the grade down quite a bit. But that's it. Just real quick, what I thought about the overall characters. Marlo, he's alright. Chris was alright. Snoop was intolerable. Just, again, every time she speaks, oh, shit, yeah, man. Just like drawing out the syllables to sound hard, and it doesn't. So again, people watching writing about street stuff, and it's just like, come on. Prop Joe's alright. Slim Charles is a little better than last season. In season 3, he has a quote, Avon, murder ain't no thing. And so his again, the drawing out of the syllables is a little better, but not super enjoyable. Bodie was alright, he dies. Little Kevin was brief, he's a fat dude. Poot's alright. You don't really hear much from the co-op. I do like Omar as a character throughout the season. Bubbles is kind of annoying. I liked Cuddy. Michael Lee, the dude, no real opinion on the kids stuff. And the police, politicians in school was basically unbearable. So I'll give it a flat C. It was alright. Wasn't super off-putting, a little bit more than politics, and I'll need to drop it down to a D+, but I'll keep it at a C. Major themes, again, just drug dealing, politics, career advancement, and school. So nothing new to talk about there. So that was my overall breakdown and memorable moments from The Wire Season 4. Thanks for watching.